Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we're beginning with a segment that I'm really excited about. And we have Tracy Gavant. Did I say that correctly this time?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. Co-founder of Main Street Pops. Tracy, how are you today? How are you holding up during the pandemic?
I'm good. This is the first time I've put on lipstick in a couple of months, so.
Well, we're glad you dressed up for us, I guess. You know? So Tracy, you and I had we should say a conference call a few months back before, of course, the whole pandemic started.
Right.
And you were talking about starting a film festival, I believe in recognition of Earth Day, correct?
Correct.
And now, and unfortunately, of course, COVID-19 happened and it was postponed, but you decided to move it online. So I was wondering if you could explain to your viewers how you were moving it online.
Sure. So, yes, as you mentioned, we did originally plan a 3-day festival to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And so we really were on hold and we had postponed it till the fall. And then, just seeing everything online and all of these wonderful things happening within the community, we got together and thought, Main Street Pops, the mission was to connect communities and bring people together and engaging and off their couches. And so we said, well, shouldn't we be doing something to bring the community together now and support the community? And so we worked with the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, which has a national festival in January, and they have a tour with over 250 locations a year. And so they were creating this online opportunity where there's a video on demand and live screenings and things like that. And we thought, terrific, why don't we look into revising the format and creating a fundraiser as well to help some of the most in need in Hoboken, and that's how it started.
That's fabulous. That really is. And now, I believe you broke it up into 3 parts, correct?
Yes, correct.
And the first part is going to be this upcoming Friday, May 15th.
Correct.
And when we were looking at the website, there were 12 shorts, films that people can view, correct?
Correct. So the launch will be with a live viewing party.
Oh, very cool.
So that way, again, our mission was to have people engage. And while we want you to stay on your couches and not get off your couches, we do want people to engage and connect. And, you can make comments during the screening. And then ticket purchasers can have the films to view for 5 days after that. So you could watch the films again and again.
Oh,
for
so
5
you can
days.
and tickets are only $10, folks. I
Correct.
mean, get on there and purchase tickets. I mean,
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I think that it's the perfect self-isolation tool, correct?
Yes. So we sort of went back over the films we had originally picked for the 3-day weekend, and we took out all of the, heavy-duty climate change, global warming, more of those activist-oriented doom and gloom films, and we sort of just culled it down to films that we felt were just celebrating nature. And, everyone's stuck inside, so why not create these little virtual adventures and escapes so that you can take, little trips outdoors, even though you were indoors. So, most of the films, they're wonderful. I mean, some of them they're all short, so some of them are 2 minutes, some of them are 5 minutes. But, there's hikes on trails, there's mountain biking in the Colorado desert, there's wonderful little cartoon shorts. I mean, it's definitely family friendly and very entertaining and heartwarming, and you'll definitely laugh and definitely cry. There's sweet ones, there's it's just really beautiful. It's a beautiful group of films.
Absolutely fabulous. And before we move on, because there's actually another portion of this first part of this film festival, where can people get more information on the film festival? MainStreetPops.com, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So MainStreetPops.com, and the tickets are available on Eventbrite, but there is a way to click through on our website.
Perfect.
And the best part of it is that all of our proceeds of both our ticket sales and the other things that are going on, each screening has different auctions and sales going on to increase the proceeds, but they're all benefiting various causes here in Hoboken. So the first live launch on the 15th will be an auction of these custom cut Hoboken H's that Hoboken Custom Craft, which is a local Avid Handyman Custom Craft. They're a local workshop here in Hoboken. They created these hand cut Hoboken H's that people have been purchasing. I have
and
one
I was
with
going
me
to say,
here.
why don't you lift that up? Because this is so fascinating you're saying this, because
Yeah.
I was walking just along Washington Street trying to get some fresh air, and I noticed this huge H in the front of City Hall. And I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness, like, what is this? So
Yeah, so this is it. This is
Oh,
the
that's very cool.
H, Hoboken Strong with the Hoboken H. And these are available for purchase, and half of the proceeds of these, which are through Hoboken Custom Craft, he was donating to FLAG, the Frontline Appreciation
yeah.
Group. So
We're doing
then,
a phenomenal job during this pandemic.
incredible.
They really are. Yes.
Incredible. And
absolutely.
So we, kind of built on that. We thought that was such a wonderful idea that we when we launched in December, we had an art market, and we had some of the emerging as well as very established local Hoboken artists. And so we asked a bunch of our local artist friends if they would paint one-of-a-kind H's. So
very
he
cool.
provided them, unfinished wood, and we're going to auction those off on May 15th. So we've got Ricardo Roig and Brittany Vogel and Zach Scott Gross and some really, wonderful artists that have donated their talents, and they've created this one-of-a-kind H's. So if you love Hoboken or your name starts with H, that's for you. And so that will
And I'm sure there's a limited
auction.
quantity as well. Sorry, not to
There's
interrupt
one
you.
of each. There's
Oh,
one of a
of
kind.
each.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So,
Yes.
So
And
extremely
yes,
limited.
Yes. So hopefully the bidding will go very high. So so all of the proceeds of the auction, as well as the ticket sales for the first screening, will be donated to FLAG, as well as the Hoboken Community Center and the Hoboken Shelter.
Excellent.
So
The
that's
people
the
most
first
in need
thing.
right now.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And that's so important.
Exactly.
And, we've been talking about the first portion of
Yes.
this film festival. And we don't want to tease you too much, folks, because hopefully we'll have Tracy on for future segments.
Yes.
But there are two other portions
Correct.
in the near future, correct? I believe the second date's already set, and you're
Yes.
working on the third date. So.
Yes. So the second date is June 4th. And, when we thought where should all of the proceeds go, we really identified 3 areas of need. So one was Feeding Hoboken, which is the first one. The second one will be the newly created Hoboken Relief Fund, which was just created.
Yes, yeah.
And that will help small businesses as well as individuals in need right now in our community. And the third one will be sometime in July, and that will benefit Mile Square Theater, which is our local community, our local regional theater here in Hoboken, and really the heart of our little city.
The heart of our little city.
Yeah, so
and
and
it's
that's
just-
art support, obviously.
I just we have a little bit of time here. How difficult is it during this time to actually put together something like this? I mean, I just give you and your small team
Yes.
the utmost credit. I really, really do. It just must be nerve-wracking, correct?
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of Zooms and Skypes, and we've been working together, since this summer. We started building the business up, and there's 3 of us. I have 2 partners, Sabrina Stoffel and Shan Gettins, and the 3 of us, just talk on the phone all the time and just divvy it up, and then of course the Wild and Scenic Film Festival's national offices in California. They've been incredible. They really provide all of the tools. So it's almost like a festival in a box in a way. So. It is a small team, but we're very passionate, and this is such a wonderful cause. And our sponsors have been incredibly supportive. They had signed on when it was a live film festival, and when we went to them with this new idea, they, most of them were able to join us, even though obviously everyone's going through difficult times now. So, and that's Hair Cult, Natural Awakenings, Hudson County Magazine, and Muller Insurance, and GCM Homes. So thank you to all of them for sure.
Thank you guys.
We couldn't do
really,
without them.
Thank you, and thanks Sabrina and Shan. They're just wonderful people. I
Yeah.
mean, and we wish we could actually be at the physical film festival, but you know what? This is the next best thing. So
Yeah, and we'll do it next year.
And we'll do it next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you in the future before your second filming, and best of luck. May 15th, you're going to want to go to Main Street Pops and Eventbrite. Tickets are only $10. What are you waiting for? Get on there. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank
and make sure
you.
you bid on these wonderful H's. Hoboken Strong. We love it. We'll be back, folks. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook page by typing in the Pulse with Peter B in your search bar and like and follow us there. We're constantly updating that page, and you're not going to want to miss any new information, especially when we're not filming. And also, for all you grammars out there, follow us at our Instagram page at the Pulse with Peter B. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. And back, 3rd week in a row. And why not? Because we need some comedy in our lives during this pandemic, is Mr. Doug Caffrey. Doug, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for having me back on. It's really funny with your approach. You just like have so much energy at the guests, man. It's like, whoa.
Exactly.
But,
I hope it doesn't get you nervous.
no, I don't get nervous.
Oh.
I'm nervous as steel.
No. But let me ask you. This is, and by the way, he's from @DougCaffrin. Follow him. You know, he's constantly posting stuff, and we're going to get to a little clip of his show on his new YouTube channel, that is, a little later on in the segment, because we promised you that last week. So I think that's going to be really, really exciting, right?
Oh, I'm pumped, dude.
I like
Stoked.
Yeah. So now one of the things I wanted to ask you was about the comedians when they go up to do a stand-up routine. Correct? Do they actually get nervous? Are they like barfing in a bathroom or something like that?
No, they take like shots of alcohol or smoke a little bit of weed. No one like that's like Eminem, like what he did.
And we're not
in 8
condoning
Mile.
any of that, folks.
I mean, if you could barf, if you have to barf, you could. But it's like some people just take like shots of alcohol. Me, I just like do some deep breathing. On my off time, I'll smoke a little weed, but it's like it's no big deal. I'm smoking weed in
Well,
this
it's still
pandemic,
illegal.
dude. I'm fine.
All right. You didn't do it before the show today, did you?
I don't know. I mean, like that's up to the viewer. Who views this, by the way?
Oh, please. We have a ton of people viewing it. There's
Like demographic wise.
you know what? Believe it or not, most of our demographics are of the senior variety because, of course, with the pandemic going on, they have to stay home more than others. Well, we should all be staying home, but of course, this coronavirus affects them more than other people. So
Damn, dude. I guess that makes sense because like a lot of people's parents like me. So like older people like me. Younger people don't like me because I'm like too vanilla or whatever. But I mean, I think I'm cool, and older people think I'm cool.
so this is why you just keep coming back on, then, right?
Yeah, dude. 6 more weeks of Doug. It's like Groundhog
6 more
Day.
weeks of Doug
It's
now.
like will I pop up?
Will
probably.
he? Will he not?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, listen, it's important to have you. So, okay, it's been a week since we filmed at the pier. By the way, much better weather this week than last week, correct?
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, do you think I'm overdressed, by the way, or no?
No, I think you're good, dude.
All right, I'm okay. Just making sure because Doug loves to give me style tips. Correct? I think the first show you went over everything that you were wearing, if I'm not mistaken.
Did I?
I think so.
I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression by saying that. If they have no context of the whole thing, like, what is?
So anyway, it's been a week.
Yeah.
And you, how's the week been? Has it been basically same old like last week, or is there anything new that you want to report to our audience? Because I'm sure the audience is dying to know.
Yeah, I think my current job is secretly trying to fire me.
Oh no,
But I think it's a blessing in disguise, so.
not your.
No,
comedy
the
gig.
job where I get a lot of income from is probably plotting to fire me, but I think it's a blessing in disguise.
The secret job that is right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Now, Doug, let me ask you this. Now, of course, I stay up late at night and I watch Fallon and all the other late night comedians and things like that. And it was funny. I was watching Fallon the other night, and he's sitting there saying his opening monologue, correct? And is it like nobody's laughing at his jokes because obviously he's home doing it, right? Is that just awkward when you get that silence?
I mean, I pretty much kill every time I go on stage, so I wouldn't know what the silence is. But dude, Jimmy Fallon sold out, dude. Once
Whoa, fighting words
it's
on the pulse here.
Like 15 years ago, at least, when he took that huge TV contract deal. That's what kills your creativity when you get like a big pile of money. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm losing this job, but I'm losing a lot of money.
By the way,
it's
I'm
like
sorry
my
to hear
creativity's gonna kick in. No, I don't really care.
But you were making
shout
some
out
good
to the
dough.
secret job. Yeah, but not having that source of income is gonna have me manifest like other sources of income. I do believe in that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So now, okay, I know you kill it every time you're on stage,
Right.
but do others like how do they feel about that? Are they just too drunk and high to actually realize, what's going on out there?
No, everyone knows what's going on because I like to really connect with the audience. So if I'm feeling good, they're feeling good. It's like I don't know. It's a pretty good relationship.
All right,
Yeah.
very cool. Now, I like the way you say that you like to connect with the audience. I mean, they always say in a comedy club, if you don't want to be picked on, don't sit in the front row. I mean, is that true for most comedians?
Yeah, but it's usually the people who don't want to be picked on are usually the most interesting people. Like the most loudmouth people are like usually insecure and don't have like an interesting story. So someone who's like kind of shy, they probably have an interesting story, but they think it's weird, but it's actually really cool.
All right.
So I like picking on the people who don't speak up at first, but only if they're comfortable. I won't push it.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little.
Yeah.
Who has been the most offended person that you've picked on while you've been doing your comedic routine?
I remember I tried out this character where I was like trying to be mayor of Hoboken,
Oh.
and I like had these horrible views on like anything you could think of, and like the crowd got really mad at me.
Oh.
I don't do that anymore. Like,
Was it in Hoboken at
It was
Willie
in
McBride's?
Hoboken at
At the Nasty Show, which is going to be starting up hopefully
no,
soon?
not my show. I did it at Finnegan's open mic.
Oh,
but,
Finnegan's.
Right,
open
right,
mic.
right.
Okay, sorry about that. And by the way, the Nasty Show, hopefully will start up when this all is over at Willie McBride's the first Monday of the month, correct?
Yeah, I'll have more information on the date, but I usually it's gonna be a free show, dude, to celebrate everyone being outside, and I'm gonna book everyone, like the funniest people that I know.
Hopefully that'll be soon, though, right, Doug?
I think so.
All right.
I don't know. I think the fear of coronavirus or whatever, because people are saying like killer bees are coming out now. It's just another fear, whatever. Yeah, I think this is gonna go on for another like 18 months.
Yeah.
So I don't think the show's gonna.
You
come
keep
back.
saying that, Doug. You're getting people nervous. All right, let's talk
Well, it's
quickly.
not me. It's the media.
Yeah,
you
it's the
know?
media. Hey, we're the media, and we're not saying
Oh
that.
yeah, true. You're good.
So, Doug, let's talk quickly about your YouTube channel that is starting. You're starting a new show on a YouTube channel. Are you going to be doing this weekly? Are you going to be doing this monthly? How long is the show going to be?
Well, I don't want to give away too much details, but it's dropping Saturday night at midnight, and I'm gonna have more information on my Instagram page. But someone made the logo. Her name's Kate. She's awesome at graphic design, so I would hit her up. Here, I just plugged Kate.
I was going to say, Kate, you plugged. And by the way, we are filming a little earlier than Sunday. So it would have started last night. So you can get on YouTube and or Saturday night, depending if you're watching this on Sunday or Monday. You can get on YouTube and type in, what's the show called?
I don't know yet.
Well, hopefully by Saturday we'll know.
I think I'm gonna flip. I don't want to give you my technique. Like I don't know. Whatever I'm feeling that morning is what the name is gonna be.
All right, maybe if you type in Doug Caffron, something will pop up, correct?
I mean, like I hope good stuff. Like bad stuff could pop up too. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, we wish you the best of luck with your whole job. Your daytime job that's secretive. We hope that it actually doesn't come true that they're trying to fire you.
No, I hope it does because
no,
that's
you
gonna get me motivated to use my creativity.
All right.
That's gonna work out. I don't really
More
care.
comedic relief for you at Doug
Right.
Caffron. You're going to want to go on to his Instagram, follow him. And folks, we actually are going to have a clip of his new YouTube show. And here it is.
I'm Quarantine Batman. I'm gonna FaceTime a high school friend and say I'm doing pretty good. And when he says something, I'm gonna think about other stuff. And then I'm gonna try to ask a question that I don't think he answered. And I'm gonna risk looking like a fool. If he already answered that question, he's gonna know I wasn't really paying attention. I'm Quarantine Batman.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook page by typing in the Pulse with Peter B in your search bar and like and follow us there. We're constantly updating that page, and you're not going to want to miss any new information, especially when we're not filming. And also, for all you grammars out there, follow us at our Instagram page at the Pulse with Peter B. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Joining us via Skype is the only GOP declared nominee for governor, and that is former Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli. Jack, we had a brief interview with you during the Hoboken Lincoln dinner a few weeks ago. How are you? Hope you and the family are safe, my friend.
Peter, we're all well here. Thank you for asking. And I got to tell you, buddy, it's always great being with you because nobody does a better job with my last name than you.
Well, that's great. Well, from one paisan to another, we got to have to take care of each other, right, Jack?
Well, I do appreciate you having me on and do hope you and yours are well.
So, Jack, Governor Murphy has been front and center throughout this pandemic with daily news conferences. His approval rating has hit an all-time high in a Monmouth poll released a few weeks ago. How difficult is it for you to get any type of press in a time like this?
Well, the governor is doing what you're supposed to do in a pandemic, in a crisis, and that's be visible. And he's been very, very visible. I think you've seen governors across the country, whether Republican or Democrat, get a real bounce in their public approval polls because of their response to the crisis. I think in a crisis, particularly a life or death crisis, a great many people feel sympathy and sorrow, and that reflects itself in the poll numbers. I'll always remind people that in the aftermath of the Persian Gulf War, George Herbert Bush was at 83%, and 18 months later lost to a governor from Arkansas that nobody had ever heard of before. So, yes, we're campaigning in very, very non-traditional ways, but ways that I think are very, very respectful and sensitive to the life or death pandemic. I think it's important, despite the crisis, to speak up whenever the governor's been wrong. And I felt he's been wrong on a number of issues. And whenever we've made a swing, I think we've made good contact in getting our message across. So to answer your question, the great thing about the modern day era is between social media and the internet, you can continue to campaign despite the fact you're not out there at rallies or fundraisers shaking hands.
You were the first statewide GOP leader to propose that there were better alternatives for New Jersey in response to some of Governor Murphy's COVID crisis-related policies. Could you tell our viewers what caused you to do so and why?
Well, again, democracy is not easy, just like the pandemic's not easy. But we shouldn't ever stop speaking up when we feel our leadership has it wrong. I feel the governor was wrong to approve of the Turnpike Commission hearings on toll hikes going ahead, despite the fact that at the same time he was advocating for sheltering in place and safe social distancing. We shouldn't be having hearings that the public can't participate in because they're being told to save social distance or stay home. I thought he was wrong about closing state and county parks. If we can save social distance in supermarkets, we can certainly save social distance in state and county parks. I also thought he was wrong to form a bioethics committee to discuss and put guidelines in place for medical rationing. Our ICU doctors are trained in advanced triaging. They don't need a bioethics committee to say who does or doesn't get a ventilator. And that's the last thing that our nursing home residents need to hear. I know it's the last thing my 88-year-old mother wanted to hear, that we were going to start doing rationing based on the decisions of a bioethics committee. So I do think it's really important to speak up, even when you think your leadership has it wrong, even if it's a crisis. Sometimes what we have to say can get our leadership to think differently and maybe change their decision.
Jack, in looking at your campaign website and social media, I noticed not only advice to the governor about what in this crisis he can do better, but also interviews you have done with doctors, medical professionals, business owners, and even a temporarily laid off New Jerseyan. This is a bit unusual for a candidate to have as part of their campaign. Why is it part of yours?
Well, it's not unusual for Jack Ciattarelli. I've always spent time with people on the front lines, and I put great value in their opinions. The people on the front lines are the people who are experiencing certain things firsthand. I think a big mistake that this governor has made is a lot of the executive orders have done by fiat amongst a very small circle of people around the governor. And he's not speaking to people on the front lines about how best to contain the virus, how best to reopen our economy, how best to preserve the mental health with things like county and state parks and golf courses. So it's not unusual. I think the reasons why I've always won elections, even in districts where Democrats outnumber Republicans, is because I spend time with people on the front lines.
What is your take on the dual COVID-19 public health and economic crisis?
Well, listen, I think if we've learned anything is that safe social distancing, masks can help contain the virus. We know who the people are that are most vulnerable to this virus. It's our nursing home citizens and people with certain underlying conditions like diabetes and hypertension and heart disease and obesity. I think those people need to continue to shelter in place. Certainly anyone who tests positive or is just showing the symptoms of COVID-19 needs to quarantine. And we've got to pay real close attention to our nursing home population. Other than that, I think it's time for us to begin to reopen the economy. And let's be very thoughtful and responsible about how we do that, particularly along the Jersey Shore. I mean, their season starts now in less than 4 weeks with the Memorial Day weekend. We've got to challenge ourselves to find ways to reopen the economy in a very thoughtful and responsible way, get currency circulating again. Because I got to tell you, Peter, there's going to be an enormous human cost to a prolonged economic shutdown. And that's why we need to challenge ourselves to reopen this economy and convey some hope that we're going to do so soon. In my opinion, the governor hasn't done a good job there.
In an op-ed published last month, you were the first to put out into the public sphere the idea of a non-partisan commission to get New Jersey's fiscal footing back on track. What do you think of Murphy's Restart and Recovery Commission he announced just last week?
Well, I think it's political window dressing. It's got 21 people on it. 5 are from his administration. The other 16, some of which don't live in New Jersey. There's nobody from the trades, nobody from construction, nobody from the Jersey Shore, nobody from the State Chamber of Commerce or NJBIA. Again, it looks like to me the cocktail party list for one of his ambassadorship gatherings. And so it's very, very disappointing. And I just don't see how this conveys any hope, particularly to all the small businesses, the mom and pop shops, and particularly those along the Jersey Shore, that we're taking seriously the challenge of reopening our economy.
What should New Jersey do, not only to fix the state finances, but to get the state economy going better than before COVID-19 and increased job growth?
Well, in the short term, what we need from the governor is transparency. If you notice, his daily press briefings do not include any type of fiscal update as to where we are with regard to the state budget. I mean, New York has been a model in this case. They've put out a very, very detailed report of where they are with regard to revenues, and they've frozen 7% of their budget. Here in New Jersey, the governor hasn't really given us any detailed disclosure with regard to the revenue cliff. He's only frozen 2% of the budget. He still made the quarterly pension payment of $700 million, but then turned around and froze $142 million in property tax relief. We'd like to know what the governor's priorities are and what we're going to do with regard to the fiscal challenge. What I'm afraid of, Peter, is very much like our recovery from the Great Recession. Our recovery from this economic crisis is going to be slow and painful. And the reason is because this governor in his first 2+ years never addressed the crises that plague this state economically. I'm talking about the property tax crisis and the business climate crisis. We are dead last in both of those categories. So until we address the property tax crisis and the business climate crisis, which again, we're the worst in the nation in both of those categories, it could be a very slow, painful recovery, just as it was from the Great Recession.
Jack Ciattarelli, Republican nominee for governor, thanks for joining us. Good luck on your campaign going forward.
Peter, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thanks again. Folks, join us next week for the Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.